It is time now to talk politics with our State House insiders, our Democratic strategist, Antoine Seawright, our Republican strategist, Dave Wilson. Dave, let's talk about last night's debate first. Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis going at it days before the Iowa caucus. Before they debated the issues, though, last night, Chris Christie dropping out of the race and in a hot mic moment referring to Haley, basically saying she can't win. She's going to get smoked. Is this going to affect the former governor?
I don't think it affects the former governor that much. As a matter of fact, polling that came out has shown that the support that Chris Christie did have, if he's not in the race, is moving over to Nikki Haley. They are a never-Trumper group of candidates right now, because it is always, as we've said before on the Insiders right now, it is always in this race a race to get to second place. And more than anything right now, Nikki Haley is trying to figure out, can she get a good showing in Iowa to get to New Hampshire, where she is within single digits of Donald Trump. If that happens, it could be what we've seen in South Carolina with Nikki Haley before, a place where she gains traction and tries to catapult past somebody.
Look, the reality is, and we were taught this as kids, the truth always hurts. And the truth of the matter is, Chris, Republican preference primary against the former president, and she certainly cannot beat our current president, Joe Biden. And so what happens is this experiment of what about anyone other than Trump is slowly coming to an end, and the calcifying around Donald Trump and the alignment in the Republican Party with Trump and extremism is starting to merge. And even if you take all the other candidates who participated in this Republican primary exercise, add up all their support, they still do not come close to having enough support to wing out or push out the former president. And so you're going to see him do well in Iowa. You will likely see him do well in New Hampshire, probably wrap this thing up in South Carolina, and Democrats will start our process in South Carolina, go over to Nevada, go over to Michigan, wrap our process up, and get ready to once again beat former President Donald Trump and extremism in the Republican Party as we know it, and hopefully bury all the things that come along with that.
Part of starting that campaign, Antoine, President Biden was in the Lowcountry on Monday, and the vice president is going to be here in Columbia on next Monday, correct?
There's not a constituency in this country, including Republicans, that have not benefited from Joe Biden's presidency. And I think you're going to see the president start to make that case in South Carolina. You're going to see him do it other places. And I think we will see Joe Biden once again start to move towards a general election type campaign and candidacy.
Joe Biden came to South Carolina because Joe Biden really doesn't have any other place to go at the moment. He's about the only person who's going to be on the ballot, and there's really no competition for him here, which is one of the reasons why the Democrats moved this first primary for them to South Carolina. It's a definite win for Joe Biden while he's here. It's great that the president and the vice president want to come to our state. They need to do that sort of stuff to campaign. But I think when it all boils down to it, if it's not Donald Trump on the ticket, there's going to be some serious concern in the Democratic Party about the numbers that are showing up right now, because Nikki Haley right now beats Biden by more than 10%. And that's going to be a real key factor in this whole race.
I want to move on now to the State House, where lawmakers came back earlier this week, and they're already debating a very controversial bill where schools have to notify parents or guardians if a child going to school is identifying as transgender. Dave, let me get your take on this bill. Is it going to pass?
It has a very strong chance of passing in the House, and the Senate is expected to take it up relatively quickly. This really boils down, JR, to one question. Who is responsible for children? Parents are responsible for children. There's not a family in the state of South Carolina that would not say that the parents have a responsibility and a right to know what's going on with their children. It is not a government responsibility to handle. And that's the place where the legislature has said, we're going to address this issue straightforward, upfront, and make sure that it gets cleared off the table so that we can focus on other issues that are important to the state.
I love when my friend Dave and his party likes to handpick what they want government to have a say in. They want government to have a say in what a woman does with her body, but all of a sudden government should and should not have a say so in certain other things. Look, here's the bottom line. I think you will see a lot of bills that mirror other bills in other states from the Republican majority in the House and the Senate in South Carolina. That's not new. South Carolina is not new to this. South Carolina's truth to this. However, the question it always comes down to, is this the most important pressing issue for the people of South Carolina? Does this matter to the people of Swansea, North, Gaston, Pillion, the Low Country, or the Upstate? Or is this just checking a national Republican box ahead of a Republican primary election process at both the federal level and the state level to see what the competition looked like? And that's a question that the majority in Republicans, the majority who are Republicans in our state, have to answer at the General Assembly. What are their priorities?
All right, we're running out of time. I want to get to Nikki Setzler, the longtime state senator here in the Midlands. He is not going to seek re-election in November. Antoine, what do you make of that?
A friend, my mentor, who has been my family senator for the 40 plus years he served, one of the most consequential and legendary state senators to ever serve not only our state, our country. His 47 years, in March will be 48, the longest serving legislator in the United States of America. I think that says a lot about the caring conservative from Lexington, South Carolina. But most importantly, I think it shows that his bipartisan nature, his bipartisan GPS that he's used to govern throughout his career has worked, and it's a model that others should learn how to follow.
Nikki Setzler, as a state senator, has been a stalwart when it comes to things being done in the state of South Carolina. To have that level of longevity is absolutely amazing. I'm grateful to the work that he's done. I'm grateful to call him a friend. And for 47 years, going on 48 now, he has been a huge voice for education in the state of South Carolina. And that says a lot about the history and the long-term impact that Nikki Setzler will have had in the state of South Carolina.
Yeah, a lot of experience walking out the door at the State House later this year. Dave, Antoine, guys, as always, thank you so much. And for the latest on the world of politics anytime, simply go to our website, WLTX.com. All right, stay